be honest with yourself. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Like, be real with yourself, which can guide you in things that you want to do as well. So we are going in a, let's say, in a world where we are exaggerating everything. We need to show the people that we are successful. We need to show the people that we are doing good stuff, that we are going on vacation in an amazing place. But in the end of the day, who cares? If in the first place you feel happy and grateful of what you're doing, you can be in a table with your best friend or the person that you want, having a sandwich, and be happy.
Graziano.
Ciao.
Ciao. Welcome to the podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I used my best Italian accent just for that introduction.
Okay.
How are
It was
you?
perfect.
How are you doing today?
Very, very good. I had a very busy day.
Yeah.
But I was thinking all day about being standing here in front of you, and I'm not gonna lie, it's my first podcast, and I'm so excited.
Save the best till last, as
Come on.
they say. Thank you so much for your time, for coming on here. I kind of want to start this by, just describing what the podcast is a bit about, so we can kind of get into it. So definitely about well-being, and I think it's a great time to bring this up with you, particularly because part of this kind of project or channel that I want to do is going to be around the arts and expressing yourself through arts, and obviously dance is one of them.
Yes.
And so I'm launching Studio PM as well, which is like a separate little channel to the podcast where I'm going to allow people to kind of express themselves through dance, singing, or any kind of art form.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is a great way of like launching that, and you are launching that for me. So
Feel the pressure.
Thank you so much. So you are like a national treasure, I think, really, in the UK. That's how I would describe you, because obviously we see you on the screens on Strictly and elsewhere, but people in the UK they seem to just absolutely love you. How do you find it living here in the UK?
Actually, I have to say thank you to Strictly and thank you to the UK public, because when I started, obviously Strictly was the cherry on top of the cake, but let's say my journey has been very challenging. As you know, I'm Italian. I'm coming from a small town in Sicily where my family, I'm coming from a big family where we are farmers. We got vineyards. We had animals and stuff like that. So when I started dancing when I was 6, it was just because my mom found me in front of the TV dancing, and trust me, she was already surprised. Like, oh, that's weird. Nobody before in my family danced before. So when there was like the first dance school back in the day. They opened in the town where I come from, which is Riesi. It's like a very tiny town of 4,000 people, and all they're doing is work in the vineyards. They go like peaches, they go olives. They work on land. So when I started dancing, obviously for the first few years it was alright, but when I decided to say to my parents, like, I would love to explore this more. I would love that this hobby is gonna become my job. So starting with my mom has been always behind me. My mom has been the first person where everything was going wrong. She was there supporting me. My dad was supporting me, but then obviously dancing is very expensive. And when you come from a very humble family where, I'm not gonna lie, we always had good food in our table. But obviously when you, at the age of 14, 15, I was already competing for Italy to do the world championship and stuff like that. So you need to always go out and taking lesson with one of the best teachers every month was coming everywhere, Rome, Bologna. You have to travel, you have to take lesson. So there was a moment that was pretty scary, but one of the moments I realized that I had to really believe in what I wanted to do was like when I was a teenager going to school, because let's say the other schoolmates, they were bullying me because I was dancing. So imagine this 12 years old little guy that wanted to dance and had everyone against him. Like, and you start to think, am I doing something weird? Like, because the environment around you is telling you that it's wrong. So you're thinking, what am I doing wrong? I just love dancing.
Well, nothing now. Look at you now.
So this, like, growing up, I realized that thank God I didn't give up, because there were so many great dancers through the years that I met. They stopped because the people around, because the environment wasn't ready, or like they didn't have the culture of it. After many years of traveling and going around, I had the chance to live so many different realities. You realize that how is possible that, I mean, I'm not that old, I'm 29, so we're talking like 2000, like, you know what I mean? So there was a very small culture, and these people, when obviously after many years of believing it, are the people that are supporting me. So I'm very, very grateful of that, but wasn't easy at all.
So how do you think, what was different for you then, do you think? Because as that like 5-6-year-old that just like suddenly liked dancing, what was the spark for you to go, actually,
I think it was the music. I remember there was the advertisement on TV, publicity, and I used to dance. And I couldn't control myself. So imagine being a kid, and I could see my brother's face. I got a brother older than me. He used to see me like, what are you doing? So all the people wanted to go to, like, all the kids wanted to go to football and stuff like that. I wanted to dance. Yeah. It wasn't easy. I had like a school every, let's say, the little show on Christmas, I was the one that used to dance. And every party that we used to do, like, there was a wedding. So my family is very big. My mom got 6 brothers and sisters. My dad the same. I'm the last one of the cousins. So every summer we had like, I don't know, 6-7 weddings of my cousins. And my mom literally would grab me and throw me on the dance floor. So in the beginning I was like, no. But when the music, I would start. Yeah. So I love that moment, but at the same time, I felt like, why I have to hide this feeling that I got? So when I started to grow, when I was like 14, 15, I started to fight it. Like at school, if other guys would tell me, I always had long hair. Oh, you look like a woman, you're dancing. I would go for them. Because I realized that if I step back, more of them gonna come towards me. If I fight the first one, the other people won't. So I realized that I had to believe it. And eventually, thank God, happened. Like I start to. The first thing for me was I start teaching, because my parents couldn't afford anymore paying lessons, travel. I used to have like 3 competitions a month, all year. So my life was just about dancing. So waking up like 6 a.m., rehearse with my dance partner till 1. Have a plate of pasta, massive one, and then start teaching at 3 till 11 p.m. till Saturday. Sunday was my day off. I was pretty young, I was like 15, 16, because I started to help my teacher first. And then I opened eventually 2 schools in Sicily. So this thing was like against me, but once the people understood, I still remember the first lesson I had with, this is the good thing coming from a small town. I had the lesson with an old mom. She wanted to learn the cha-cha-cha. She was like 75. This mom did the first lesson with me. In 1 week, my dance school was full. Wow. Just because she spread the news. Yeah. Oh, Graz, son of... Full. So these people helped me. I will never say thank you enough, because I am where I am today because I couldn't pay my lessons. And these were the people who trust me. Eventually, obviously, by 16 years old, I had to talk with a doctor that would take a lesson with me, a farmer. So I had to grow quick. So the process was so quick that I realized that now, like thinking back, I was like, wow, I didn't have fears because I didn't have nothing to lose. So when I started teaching, that was the only way. If I wanted to dance, that was the only way that to go. Like without any, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, or like I don't know if I'm good enough. I just had to jump. Yeah, it was the key.
But you're born to do it because you have the natural passion for it and rhythm, and you can do it. but then you had the business mind to like think, actually, this is where I want to go. So I need to do this and this to get me there. Because it's easy for us, the outside, to look at you and say, oh, he was young, like 5-year-old, and he loved dance, and then now he's on Strictly. There was like so much
Strictly
in between.
There was so much. Strictly was the call that allowed me to say, yes, I was right. Because before that, just imagine me dancing, but my dad got vineyards. We got a farm. And I grew up in a family where I got an older brother, and I never seen my brother jealous because my parents would give everything to me to let me dance. He would be so supportive. He was the one that, let's say, summer, when the school is done, he would start working twice more than me because I had competition and stuff. But when I was free, I was on land with them, working.
Yeah.
So realize that there was one of the things as well that helped me a lot. Because working on land is very hard. Starting at 4 a.m., finishing at 8, 9. When you are owner, you use all day. So I always seen my dad with the boots. Like, that was the thing. I always see my dad working. So I knew that, I don't know, maybe if I wasn't by now, I never danced before, I would be a farmer for sure. Yeah. Because all my cousins, all my family, they're doing that. And I left my heart there. So I hated when I was young because I was working a lot. Then I started teaching by doing that as well. I had some of the most beautiful memories for me was like September, because it's when we cut the grapes to make the wine. And so all the family reunites together and work together, because as I said to you, I live in a town where I used to live here. Every corner there was familiar faces, like my auntie, all close to each other. So I didn't have friends. I have cousins. We're like 50 people, like so many. So growing up, you grew up with this connection with your family. They're so strong, and you do everything to make your family proud. Then obviously when I started to dance as well, they were the first people that were supporting me. And now when I go back, like from my wedding, for example, I went back because obviously I said to Giada, my wife, I said, if we do in Venice, how am I gonna bring 300 people? So it's summer, let's do please in Sicily. It's easier. So I feel very lucky that I got this family, but also I got this culture that helped me to understand that the sacrifice brought me where I am today.
Yeah, I've been to an Italian wedding before. Yeah.
It is
it's an interesting thing.
It's a process.
It's a process. So when you say, I mean, obviously you worked on the vineyard as well. So for me, and somebody who lives in the UK, when people say vineyard, it's like, oh, I would love that. I would absolutely love to go there.
Maybe the first hour.
Obviously, I don't work at a vineyard, as you can tell. But like, it's just so much hard work. It's a lot of manual work. But also, I think manual labor also lets you be more present in the moment, because you're just focusing on what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And so that's the part I think we miss here a lot. So do you miss that?
I miss so many stuff.
Tell me.
If I have to be honest with you. Like starting from, obviously I've got so many memories that I bring with me every day, and obviously I compare that with the life that I'm living now. I call myself very lucky and grateful of what I'm doing. But at the same time, I miss that. I miss seeing the process of, let's say, fruit. Can be grapes, can be peaches, can be olives. So starting from olives, olive oil, grapes, wine, or the grape that we are eating, peaches as well. So every time we will have lunch, like the bolognese, the tomatoes was from our garden. Now everything will be 0 kilometer, like that. So the taste, that's why I think Italians, we are so passionate. In my case, it's not because it's the best, because it's there. It's normal for us to have something that we made it. So it's not like you are buying it. You know what I mean? So one of the most, let's say, big surprises I realized when I arrived there, obviously working on land, I know the process. Like if you think about the peaches tree, right? There's a process where you got the big peaches and the small one. You take the small one, you let it go on the floor because you need to give space to the big one to grow. So when I arrived here, God. When I arrived here and I went like for the first time to buy, I wanted peaches so much. I saw a box. I saw the box with the peaches. I said, these are the ones that will let it go on the floor.
These are the ones from the floor.
So it's like, it's a shame because, for example, Sicily is not so well connected with Europe and other countries in general that people don't. That's why when people say, "Oh, I went to Italy, the food is incredible," it's not because here is different. It's just it's missing the connection to bring this kind of fruit or wherever it is in the country. This is one of, obviously there are so many things that I love about UK, like fish and chips is one of them. But there are things that obviously I miss because I grew up on land. So I remember being 6 years old in the tractor with my dad and grab a peach, doing that, eat it. So it's a different, let's say.
It's different. You're more connected to nature and things like that.
A lot. This is a crazy thing I did. When they called me on Strictly, and I started with this, my story is a bit weird. I wanted to give up when I was 20 because I said, I've tried my best, it's not working. So I wanted to give up. I was in an academy in Bologna. Eventually I said, okay, I'm going to go back because still my mom found a way to make me go in the academy. We found other teachers that could teach in my dance schools. I had 2 dance schools, so I could study in the academy. I split again with my last partner. She couldn't afford anymore. And I said, okay, I've tried my best. I need to go back. I start teaching. And then one of my old friend, they used to see me dancing when I was 10 on the square in the town during the summer, said, there is this competition for modern jazz. And I would like to put your dance in between just to give a break to the dancers. Would you be up for it? I said, yeah, but I was searching a partner just to rehearse, just to stay still, physically good if something will happen. So I just started 3 days before with this dancer. She said, you prepare for your dance because I need you. This Sunday there is a show. So I did the first dance, and he told me there are the judges of this TV program. They are judging this competition. They want to talk to you. After the first dance that I did. And remember that with my brain, I was like losing everything. I was like, oh, it's not working. I'm doing this show, wherever comes next, I don't know. So this judge told me, listen, we are introducing in this TV show, which is called Amici. It's a massive TV show in Italy. We're introducing a new style of dance, which is Latin and ballroom. Would you be up for it for audition? And don't tell me why. That's why I'm telling you, when you are young, you don't have that fear of saying something. I said, I'm going back to the competition world. I don't know if I'm interested. And I went away. So I did another dance in this competition, like a show. And they called me again, like, please come over. We want to talk to you. Come in 9th of September because I think you're such a good dancer. You should try. I said, maybe. I have nothing to lose. Let's go. So I went to Rome and I went to this audition, this TV show. Obviously, they asked me, the first thing, they make you fill a form where you have to talk about your story. Obviously, I said the story coming from the farm and everything. After I gave the envelope, was kind of a paper, after 10 minutes, they came over. They said, instead of telling you tomorrow and call you, I'm telling you, you need to come in 2 weeks with the final section of the dancer that we choose since April. It was September. It's gonna be live on TV. I said, okay. So I went back. Imagine telling my mom that. Telling mom, I'm gonna be live on TV, the main channel in Italy, and maybe I'm gonna have this competition with the other 12 dancers, and they're gonna choose the best one who gonna join the academy in this TV show. So I went there. We did the challenge together. There was the judge. We danced live on TV. So imagine all my town. So
it's like a talent.
It's a talent show where you are. There is singing. There is dancing like hip hop, ballet, modern, and that here they introduced Latin and ballroom. So for the class of Latin and ballroom, I was one of them. Obviously, the news was spread in the town where I grew up. Everyone was on TV. I remember my auntie told me, I was watching outside. There was a silence that you will learn, like nobody was out. They choose me
Wow.
I still remember, I was 19, so I fell on the floor because I couldn't believe it when the host said, "It's Graziano." All the people from my town, it's like Italy won the World Cup. They jump on the car and start to like outside and celebrating. It was beautiful. They put even, because people start to send me picture, they did a banner with my face and said, "Graziano, we're proud of you," something like that. They leave it there until I come back eventually. So that moment for me was like, oh my God, sky is the limit.
So was that your big break?
It was the big thing, because there they just choose me but not my partner, my dance partner back in the day. So they had to call a professional dancer to dance with me, and that professional dancer was my wife. Okay. So when I went inside the room for the first rehearsal, I saw this beautiful blonde lady. I fell in love instantly. She didn't at all. So
women hide it better.
So, I mean, still now she say no, I wasn't. So we start this journey. Let's say we start to dance together. I was in the TV show for a while, and then after that, obviously, people start to call you for shows, dance school. So for me, it was an excuse to call her and dance with me, even if sometimes was even worth it, the money. But for me, it was just an excuse to make her come. So we did all the summer we did shows and stuff like that. Then the big step was that a big dance company asked me to join them and travel the world. And then I said, "Oh, I can live by dancing. That's beautiful. I can learn." Like back in the day, English, I didn't know any English. So for me it was, I'm gonna be dancing, living by just thinking about dancing, traveling, learning English. Amazing. First thing what I did, calling Jada, saying, "Jada, listen, they contacted me. I'm over the moon." She told me like, "I need to go back to the channel again and do the next series." And I said yes already. I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my God, this is the answer that she's basically telling me. It's done. Because obviously, eventually through the months we became friends. I found a way to tell her that I had feelings for her. She did, she know. And she was like, "No, we are just colleagues." Okay. Lucky me.
She was professional.
Yeah, she was very professional. And I left. I went to Miami. So there I stepped back. I didn't write to her at all. And she started, after 1 month, she started to call me like, "Oh, you disappeared." I said, "I understood your point. I'm doing my life." She started to miss me because I was very present. So I was living one of the best moments of my life, where I started to discover the world. I started to travel the world. I started to see the difference between my little town in Sicily and the world. Was incredible. It was one of the best moments, best period of my life, because everything was new. And when I finished my first contract after 5 months, obviously then we start to talk again and call each other. I arrived in Rome, so my phone didn't work. I went to a tree store and said, "Please, can I do a call?" Just to call, a friend. I called her. I said, "Jada, I'm back in Italy. We need to see each other. Please, let's meet somewhere." She said, "Sorry, I'm teaching." In my head, already, she's cold again. So he said, "I'm teaching, but I really like your red backpack." And then got the phone. I was in front of this guy. I said, "Red backpack." Red backpack. I said, "How she knows I've got a red backpack?" I went out. She was waiting for me.
What?
Because she called my mom.
Okay.
And
Okay.
So from there, I started to be together with my wife. We started our relationship. We started with this dance company. We started touring. Became one of the best 6 couples in this dance company. And then we were in Japan. Everyone knew about the next contract. So imagine me, I was like, I've got so many solos. We are traveling, beautiful. I'm with my girlfriend. I need to get used to again. And then the producer told me last day, he told me, "Listen, tonight we got the last show. After the show, come to my room. We're going to talk." During the show, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I was dancing, but obviously after 100 show, I was thinking about it. We finished the show. I said, "Don't even do a shower. Let's go straight there." We arrived there. The producer told me, "Listen, take a chair. I've got 2 news." I say, "Yes." We came, by the way, we did London first, and then we went to Japan.
Okay, so she left that show and she came to tour with you?
Yeah, she came with me. She left. The show was done already.
Okay.
Because I stayed 5 months around the world.
Okay.
Then we did the tour in London first, and then we did Japan. So in London, we were the new couple. Like, there are 6 couples on tour. They changed the last moment. They changed the last couple. They put us in. So for me, it was everything new. Like, being in London, I didn't know anybody. Many things I realized. Theater shows are different. So we went to Japan. Everything was beautiful. By the way, from London to Japan, we were doing like 1 solo. When we went to Japan, they gave me 4 solos to me. And I was surprised, like, oh, all of a sudden, okay. So last day he told me, like, I've got good news and bad news. I said, start with the bad news. He told me, I don't know if we're gonna work together anymore. I almost literally wanted to cry. So, because for me it was the best thing I could potentially have in my life, in my career, in my dance career. And after that he told me, do you want to know the good news? I said, yes. Strictly asked me about you. I fell from the chair. So I still remember falling and my wife watching me like that. I said, what are you doing there? I said, can you say again? Yeah, they saw you in London. That moment for me brings me back when I was 6, because from that kid of being where I am today is something that I will never in the back of my head I will even realize. For me, already dancing in that dance company, I learned so much. Was the sky was Strictly was the golden ticket that changed my life completely.
So you already knew Strictly as that. You
obviously,
put it
when
up there as a
yes, in this dance company there was so many dancers that from there joined the show, but I didn't know anyone. I don't know how they saw me on stage, and they called me, and from there, my life changed. And there was the moment as well where I decided to marry my wife, because she said, if you go to London alone and I'm going to go to the next contract, I don't know, in another part of the world, there is no point to stay together. So I'm going to come with you. I'm going to sacrifice my job to come with you. There's something clicked. I said, she's the one.
Yeah.
So I invented another excuse with her, because I said, listen, we finished this tour now. I need to go back in Sicily because I've got little problems with my family. I need to go back. Bless them. I always blame them. So she went home to Bassano. She's from Venice. And I went back home in Sicily. So I said to my family, I need to buy a ring. Because basically what happened is I did my first season on Strictly. And then the same dance company there used to be, they called me to do like a coming back tour, UK tour. So on my birthday of, I don't remember how many years ago, 2020, it was before COVID.
Okay, pre-COVID.
I asked her to marry me. She was thinking, basically we finished a solo. They used to...
tell us the story, because I know the engagement story, so you have to tell people.
So the story was that I bought this ring.
Yeah.
We start to go on tour. On tour you need to be quick. So maybe they used to throw the luggages like that. And because me and my wife, we share everything, I don't know if it was a brilliant idea to put the box with the ring inside a sock. So like that, inside of the luggage, she will never check my socks. She will never, thank God. So when they will throw the luggage, I will like, what's wrong? Nothing, don't worry, nothing. I'm just overthinking. So during that period, I used to wake up like during the night, go in the bathroom, she was sleeping, and start to make the speech. Because I asked my parents, her parents to come over. So obviously my parents and her parents, they don't talk English. So I had to write down in Italian first the speech, obviously then in English. I was so secure. I was like, I have the speech, beautiful. Imagine I had like 2 weeks every night practicing. Eventually the day arrived. Couldn't sleep in the night. We arrived in the middle of, obviously I talked with the producer of the show. I said, I would like to do that. They literally say, absolutely. After you finish your solo, you're gonna grab the mic. Obviously Jada was thinking, oh, he gonna grab the mic because it's his birthday, or maybe he wants to do a speech or something. Eventually I called all the cast on stage. And I start to talk to her. When I start to talk with her, I don't know, my throat literally closed. I wanted to cry so bad. Yeah. And I was angry with myself because I said, you know the words. It's not like a school that I never... Yes! At school, I didn't know what to say when the teacher called you. Here, I'm prepared. I've been doing my job, So I couldn't stop. But I forced it, and there is a moment in the video where she wanted to hug me, and I said, no, let me finish. Let me finish. I've been working so hard. It's one of the best moments of my life that on stage, because that's where we met. I asked her to marry me, and then obviously when she saw my parents, her parents coming up on stage, she was like, how, you did that? Because I'm very clumsy. She's very settled. I'm the one who forget things and stuff like that. To see me doing that, was like, she was so proud. So I used that in my advantage so many times. Every time she was like, good for you. Maybe you should clean the plates. I said, remember, I asked you to marry me. I did that.
Remember what I did 2-3 years ago? Wow.
So it was one of the most beautiful moments
of
my life.
So, imagine if when you were 20, you decided, no, that's it. I'm stopping. What path you would have gone on?
I would be still working on lens.
Yeah. So at that point, what was it that was the thing that was kind of swaying you maybe to stop?
So the thing was, in our world, when you do competition, you dance for a while with your partner, my baby, because it's so expensive. Your partner, because you pay 50-50, your partner can say, I can't afford it anymore, I'm gonna stop. And obviously in that case, coming from the academy, search another partner, say to my parents, I'm gonna search another partner. They were like, I changed like 4 or 5 partners through my career, like starting from 6 till 20, wherever. So when I decided to go back, I started to do my normal life. So teaching every day, social, and I had couples as well. They used to do competition. I was happy, but not fully happy. I still remember I had a chat with my dad one night. We had dinner together. Imagine I was at home, but basically my parents... I started teaching first when I was 16 in a restaurant. Not in the same town where I grew up, like 20 minutes. From there, that school was full. All my cousins started like telling me, oh, you are teaching in the next town, and you got all your family asking you to teach, to be taught and start to dance. You need to open another school. So I said to my dad, the only thing we can do to save money is to fix the garage, because I used to dance there. So my dad, in literally 2 weeks, fixed the garage. We have the mirrors everywhere, and I start teaching on my garage. And we had the school full. I still remember when we opened it, it was full. We didn't know where to put the people. We couldn't fit the people. Because obviously, all the people that see me grow, imagine every summer I was dancing on the square. So when I opened the dance school, they were like, oh my God, he did it. They support me since the beginning.
Yeah.
So for me to have this dance school and be teaching was beautiful. I was very grateful, but I was young. I said, is this the life that I want to do now? For example, my dad was like, look, you did it. You did it. You're living by that. I said, yes, but I'm too young. I wanna learn more. I want to discover other stuff. I want to be a dancer, not just a teacher. I'm not like 50, 40, whatever it is that you have done. You had the time of your life and you want to just settle. You know what I mean? He was against me, my dad. My mom was like, we're gonna find a way. So that's why we found 2 teachers and I could go to Bologna. I realized that basically I started dancing again, but wasn't the same thing. Come back, and then there was the thing about the TV show and everything. So I think it was the destiny as well, because maybe if I would keep dancing with the same partner, I would never do the TV show after and never meet my wife.
So this is what we've spoken about in this podcast before with destiny, because it's really interesting to think, is this already like planned out for us? Or are we creating our own, are we attracting things in and manifesting our own life? And I think part of it for you was definitely that you were born to do this, but secondly, you didn't give up, and that's one of the things you always say. Yes. You just didn't give up.
Absolutely. I think the fact that I never stopped, and I think sacrifice. There's one thing that I learned from my dad. Sacrifice. I remember seeing him like 8 p.m. There was a period I used to like have a gap from teaching, and he was like calling me, I'm done with the job, can you come and pick me up? And I will see him walking towards me. I've got this literally picture of my dad coming, him in pain coming to. I said, why you do that? Why are you still working at 8 p.m. since this morning? I said, we don't have the money to call other people to help me, so I have to do by myself. So is that kind of, or like when we go, for example, every Saturday and Sunday to help me, would be tough. But at the same time, there are some moments, like, for example, finish working and travel from the land to our home and seeing the happiness on my dad's face and my brother beside me. There were moments that was worth it. So that's why, for me, dancing, was the only thing. And I know that working on land would be 10,000 times harder. So I just to push myself and find that way to make it happen. Yeah. Obviously, I call myself lucky. I think in life you need to be good, but also you need to be lucky, because when Strictly happened, I was in the right place at the right moment. Yeah. So it was 50-50 between destiny and effort, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to, like you said, be at the right place, right time. Sometimes you just need to catch that one break, and then everything flows from there.
Absolutely.
And then obviously you met Jada as well.
Everything.
And then it Strictly came, and then...
I've learned so much since I arrived in UK. Firstly, from the language. I remember I'm a dancer. I've never been on TV apart from in Italy. But when you arrive here, you got the camera.
Way more in your face,
Introduce yourself. You got everyone watching you. So I remember my first number on Strictly was Havana. And I had to walk.
I loved that one.
So basically everyone was dancing, I was in the back, and me walking in the middle with no music. And when that happened during rehearsal, the choreographer saw me nervous, like, I can feel that you're nervous. I couldn't hear the accent on the music, because there were the walk, the steps accent, and I was so nervous. Because that's the thing, for me, coming from a completely different world, was big, was something that I cannot describe. If I think that moment, there was Anton Dubek telling me, remember, these are just cameras. Remember, like, because he could say, I was 24, so I was like, I feel the pressure, because you see Strictly, So when I join, and you see all these dancers, everyone know their job, and I'm new, I'm not even English, I'm Italian, the language is not my first thing. So back then you have to do so many interviews when you do the show. So was a lot. But because you put yourself in a humble way on the side, that you want to learn a lot. So I'm constantly learning. I'm even learning now that I'm talking with you. Yeah. So there's always time to learn new stuff.
Yeah, I can see that from you, definitely. You have that kind of positive attitude and the joy that you just experience in lots of different things. Because even on social media, you can see you're just enjoying yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think that is another thing that, not to always go on the negative, but we just don't do enough as a society. Take those little moments of joy and run with them. We're always in our heads quite a lot, and so this is what I definitely want to explore more on this podcast, is just how to go through life actually enjoying the moments and realizing what it is that you enjoy, because you realize what you enjoy and you went for it. It's still hard work.
Absolutely.
And you've seen your family work quite hard as well, so I think you've obviously taken a lot of inspiration from their work ethic, but you've put it into a way where you can now do your passion as your career.
I think in general, people ask themselves, what is the things that we want to achieve in life? And I think there is a balance about everything. When you try to force, for example, I realize in this country a lot, and I put myself in it as well. You work, and you realize that you don't have time to live. You are working to live. You are working to survive. And I think it's not a fault of our people, but it's where the world is going. But at the same time, I don't think we are going the right direction, because if I think back to my grandfathers, for example, they worked a lot, but at the same time, they had a life that was simple, but they had moments where they will realize what they go around them. Like, even in terms of space, in terms of nature, in terms of food, I think everything is connected. But I think we are going in a world where we want to exaggerate things. Like, we want to do more stuff, more jobs. We need to show everyone that we are doing stuff. And I think with time, we're going to realize that we need to go back all the way. Because I think simple stuff are the most real and truly to us. Even going to many things like food. Even if I think about moments that make me feel good, are moments where, for example, I've got a house in the vineyards that was from my grandfather. And when I received the call from Strictly, I said, I'm gonna make this place livable again. So during COVID, I said to my wife, instead of go in my mom's house, let's go to the vineyard house. We had the best time. No internet connection, nothing. We had the land there, nobody around. So I would be in boots, in shorts, going out for a walk around. I would see the cows there, like literally fresh food every day. We had the plants there. What was so I wasn't ready for it, because coming from a tour and then disconnect everything. I think COVID was another thing where people obviously was so damaging in terms of people dying and stuff like that, but also people weren't ready to stay at home with their family, because we are all so used to work, coming home, have dinner, go to sleep, tomorrow another day. So where are we going? That's the question.
It gave us a moment to pause though, COVID, didn't it?
Yes.
And like, I've never been on so many walks in my life, and now I don't do it anymore. So what?
Because
it was just because of COVID, just because then I went for walks and now nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is another thing I think that we should reflect and realize, like, we are the people who should understand the balance between working and take a moment for ourselves. Obviously, to have that moment, we need to survive. There are people that are doing like 2-3 jobs because they got family. Yeah. I completely with them. But there's always a level of living. If I see myself, for example, I know I've got a massive job from now, jumping to other jobs till June. I have to force myself to stop and take a break, because then the next season is coming back and I want to be in best shape or form physically but also mentally. For me, taking a break is family. Going back to Italy, do nothing, just simple stuff. Maybe be in the vineyards. Like, oh, is that your vacation? For me, yeah, it would be like going in the olive trees that I go and just sit on the ground and nothing, just hear the wind blowing that's for me is a moment that I will remember.
It sounds like a dream. Yeah. It's something that I think a lot of people want to just go and do nothing, because we're doing everything.
We're doing everything.
Yeah, it's
and
difficult.
Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful that we got the chance to explore things that before, like our, let's say, grandfathers, we cannot even think about. But it's always the excess of exaggerate stuff. So that's another thing that
I completely agree. The extreme of things is never good either way.
Yeah,
we just need that balance, and I think you're right. Like, we don't have to go all the way back. There are loads of things that are great now that we have, and I enjoy now, in the technological world, but then we should have a balance of the simple as well as that. So like when you say you go away and you have that moment and you have that break, I'm sure at some point you go, okay, now I'm ready for the bustle of life. And
absolutely, because we have a range of life where when I go back I can have like 10 days, 15 days. Obviously my world now is calling me, because I've grown, I've learned, and I discover stuff that I didn't know before. But at the same time, I hate when I was a kid, or like when I used to grow up, when I was like a teenager, I hate like the farm, because for other people it was beautiful, coming there for one day, I used to work there. So for me it was like, but now I miss them.
You can appreciate it.
It's
more.
calling me. It's calling me. It's calling me. Even the town. When I go back to my town, I see things that I used to see when I was 10, because nothing has changed. Nothing. So I see things with the same eyes of before, but I've grown. So I appreciate even having a walk from the house I grew up on the square all the way, all the bars, and then what is beautiful, I go to the bar, you have the coffee, you want to pay, is already paid from a person that you don't know. You're like, who paid? Oh, crap. Like, that's the beautiful thing. Yeah.
I think I can resonate with you slightly in terms of the small town. I grew up in like a small-ish town in the UK, obviously near London, so I could always have access to like a bigger city. But there was always part of me that was probably because of the small town, where I was like, there's more out there. That's probably what pushed me as well as a person to go, no, I need to travel, or I need to be successful in this, because this can't be it. I have to push myself. But everyone is different.
It's different.
You're used to what you're used to, and you don't really appreciate what you have until maybe you're far away from it.
So true.
But I think it's the same for you, where you probably pushed yourself because you thought, okay, I love this town, but this isn't it. I want to venture out and I want to push out, and you had that dream. Is that?
I think there was the answer.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I was young, I couldn't even question myself. I would say to myself, if you have to do it, you have to risk it, you have to try your best. And if it doesn't work, at least you did your best. That's how I see it. Obviously, behind me, I had my mom. My mom has been always the person that would say, don't worry, we're going to find a way. Was incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, you always have some members of the family that are either like really realistic and keep you grounded, or the ones that are like, fly, go. So you have like, it's good to have
the
both.
right balance.
Yeah, it's good to have the right balance.
Yeah.
So with the dreaming, kind of like having that dream, so that kind of leads me on to your tour, Believe. So this word for you, as I've heard, is, really important, because that is the word that inspired you to keep going, and what's brought you here today. So tell us a bit more about the tour.
So Believe is something that if someone would tell me, one day you're going to do your own tour about your own story, I would say, you are crazy. So everything started, I did a collaboration with this production as a choreographer. So I choreographed my first musical last year. And we had one of the last meeting, and I said, why we are doing this meeting? The show is already on the road. Yeah, we need to talk. When the producer said, remember in the beginning of this journey, you start to talk about a bit of your life. Why we don't talk about it again? So they literally let me talk how I am doing it with you. And then I said, we would like to make all of this on stage. I couldn't believe it. So when we start to talk about it and how we're going to tell the story, obviously, we arrived in a point where we had to decide the name of it. And there was this word. There was the first one that was stuck in my head, and I couldn't find another word that would describe better. Because it needs to be one word, it needs to be short. And was the believing was the thing. If I would think back in the day, believing was the thing that literally pushed me and doing stuff that a normal person would say, you got some problems. Like, how would you, like, I risk everything to keep, like, another person would say, oh, I've got a beautiful dance school, people are trusting me, why you want to spend this money on yourself and you don't know even if one day you're going to be successful? Was a risk, but I'm here now telling this story, and I call myself extremely lucky to have the chance to do my tour where people are going to feel related. I'm sure each person they're going to come to see Believe going to feel related in terms of, obviously people see me on Strictly and say, oh, Graz from Strictly. That's the surface of my story, but there is a past behind that I would like to let the audience know. And I really hope they're going to feel part of it, because I think it's going to be very, very interesting and surprising.
Yeah, I think they'll be inspired, and I think inspiring people is the key to everything, because that's how we help each other the most. And that's why through dance or through art, that's like so special. Because I remember when I was younger, And you said this before as well. I think you danced if you couldn't dance, you would go in your room and you would just close the door and just like,
times.
yeah.
I would even close the lights because I would be...
You're self-conscious in a way, but you really need to do it.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I had these moments as well.
Yeah.
And my mom would come through and say, are you dancing? Hey, the light is off. Are you crying? You're gonna kick the bag. I said...
Yeah, my mum.
Go away.
I can hear you. I can hear the roofs coming down. Like you should come. And whenever anyone would come in, I'd say, "Stop! Like this is my time,
absolutely,
and my moment." And I think it was a way of me coping with my emotions.
Which they can be good but bad. I had moments where I could be bullied at school during the day, and I would say to myself, "I don't have to dance. People are making I would say to myself, it's wrong." And then days would go away, would pass, and then I had that feeling of dancing. So, in a way, I felt like I was doing something wrong. Imagine how wrong was that. I had moments where I closed myself in the garage, put the music, no lights, and dance, just because I needed. And then I would say, "Oh, I was doing nothing wrong."
That's hard because that's your release. That's your stress release.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's the thing that was causing it as well.
Absolutely. And then imagine going at school back again. Yeah. You will have the guy that has been in the same class for 4 years slapping you on the back. "Oh, you're a girl. You're gonna dance today? And I would be I couldn't go for him. It's like all the me. So you know what I mean. So for me, it was so hard. Even the teacher, for example, I remember growing up when I was 6, 7, even 12, I would go back from a competition at school and my mom would say, "Bring this picture to the teacher, show her that you won the Italian championship." So at 10, when I won my first Italian championship, I went back. I remember the teacher was so proud and that was beautiful. I did it after a few years. I felt ashamed. I felt like, oh, people are making jokes of me. Why? I couldn't understand it. And then you learn with time that there's jealousy as well and stuff like that. So these people now are the first people that are welcoming me when I go back.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy because each person is different. Imagine if I had a different character. I had a character where I give up. I would be a completely different person. That's the thing. Choices in life can make so much difference, but also we are so hypnotized by people around us, which sometimes we should trust our feelings.
Yeah, we're too worried and preoccupied about what other people are thinking, and we don't tap into our own body.
Or we follow people, for example, even when you are young, because that's the thing.
It's easy, isn't it, to be influenced
or be influenced, or people oh, that person is a strong character, is making joke of you, other people are following him, and you feel so vulnerable. You feel very, very vulnerable.
Did you feel like, I'll show them? Did you have that in the back of your head?
For me, for example, I had so many moments where there was the show at school, and they, for example, would let everyone dance, all the girls, the boys, I'm not dancing, whatever. Yeah. And then I will enter, and I will dance alone. And I didn't want to do it. I wouldn't even go to the rehearsal because in the corridor people would make joke on me. So maybe I would go and play football because everyone was playing football. Maybe last day before the show, the teacher would grab me on the side and say, "Graz, at least we know what you're doing." So I would go there and not even trying properly, just doing, I'm going to dance here for a minute and then I go. And then on the night, thinking about this all day, my mom would say to me "Is everything okay?" So she would see that if I would do a competition because everyone around me are doing the same thing and I'm doing, I would feel very comfortable and no stress. And doing a show at school, I would be so stressed. And I would be even wearing what we wear for a show, the Latin trousers, the very tight shirt inside with the Latin shoes, even going into the place to dance, I would be like, oh my God, everyone is... So imagine how frustrating. So then the music would start. I didn't have time to escape. So the music would go inside of me. I couldn't stop. So I would start performing it. And then there was the moment before when you finish, and there's half seconds, there is a silence, and eventually then the audience applauds. So they're the moments where you breathe. But still now, if you ask me how you feel, I feel in a good way, stress, because I know that people have been saving money to come and see my show, or like there is a process that each person have done that kind of sacrifice to come and see me dancing. So I don't want to disappoint anyone, but at the same time I want to be honest with myself and give everything on stage. So we are coming back to the beginning, the sacrifice of, for example, paying that lesson, or like the Latin shoes that my mom will say to me, we can afford to buy you Nike shoes, but instead of buying that, we're gonna buy you the Latin shoes. Are you happy with that? I was a kid, so my parents were so good to make me aware of the finances that we used to have.
Yeah.
We will have a very good dinner or lunch, wherever, but we weren't rich. We were a normal family. So even now, I realize that everything is happening to me. I know that how lucky I am, just because I come from a completely different life. So yeah.
But you showed resilience. You showed that you would just be yourself. And there's always going to be pressure when you're doing something or offering something out. But those people are investing in you and coming to see you. And there'll always be pressure. But
the UK audience is giving me a trust, a love, that when I announced it, obviously my wife is going to be the leading lady in the show. And I feel in safe hands because she's beside me, but at the same time, the reaction from the people has been incredible. Yeah. And trust me, I didn't expect that at all. Yeah. So
believe really is believe in yourself. I think that's the message. I think
that's the message.
And be yourself, because when you are authentic, and
absolutely, at least you're gonna be honest with yourself. Yeah. Anything is gonna come around, you're gonna be happy with. If it's not what you expected, at least you were honest with yourself.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I've got a couple of questions from some people that have written in.
Okay.
I haven't done this before, so this is new. So this is from Sabrina.
Okay.
So other than dancing, what is something you do to help you relax?
I think food is one of is one of the things that make me feel so happy. Even any meal, like for me, coming from Italy, having a meal is a way of being with other people and talk and eat together. So that's one of the things. And another one, even more important, is I'm very connected with my family. Yeah. So for me, anything I do, at least once a day, I call my family, my mom, my dad, and ask them how they are. And even, for example, listening to my dad telling me, today the alarm didn't work and I was late on my job, that will make me feel part of them, even if I'm far.
Connected. So peace of mind. I do that. I need to know how everyone is, and then I'm like, okay, now I can relax and I'm peaceful. Yeah. What is your favorite dance and why? And this is from Simon.
So the thing is, I've got periods where, for example, samba is my favorite one, just because,
that's
or maybe
the hard one, right?
Yeah, or like even the jive. I think the jive is pure. If you ask me now, samba definitely is an explosion of feelings and make me feel like so good. Like when you feel you are connected with the song, you can express yourself.
It's the music. I always find that when I connect to the music more, I know it's kind of obvious, but like I just feel more like I can move more.
Absolutely. Also, dancing is for everyone. This is a thing that I'm trying to do also in the classes that I do sometimes. Like dancing is honestly for everyone. That's why I think Strictly is so loved by the public, because it's real. It's about dancing, connecting with the music. So definitely. Also the journey of people that never danced, completely novice,
they're vulnerable,
and then they start to do leaves and stuff. Like definitely. That's one of the stuff.
I love Strictly. Last one. What would be your fantasy dinner party? So that's like if you could pick 3 people.
Wow. Like in terms of people, like one would be Jennifer Lopez for sure.
Okay.
I would do a dance with her. I would love to meet again Andrea Bocelli. I had the chance to meet him on Strictly, and we had a nice, incredible, surprising chat together. And you realize that the most successful people, most of the time, are the most humble one. And the third one, he's maybe hearing in the stars, would be Michael Jackson.
My God, this is like similar to Can I come?
You're more than welcome to come. Like, I grew up with these songs.
Oh yeah.
I would be like, do the kick that he used to do and kick the bed and be like,
that really makes you move, isn't it? His music, yeah. Amazing. So the last thing, I guess, is just what would be your last message to listeners?
My message it's very simple, and I think sometimes the simple stuff are the hardest one. Is every day in everything you do, can be a job, your job can be I don't know, your friends, you go out, you can be guide in a different, let's say, thought, different perspective that maybe you are not agree with. Sometimes you don't say your feelings just because you feel like maybe I'm the only one who's thinking in a different way. I think is believing in your thoughts. Like, be honest with yourself. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Like, be real with yourself, which can guide you in things that you want to do as well. So we are going in a, let's say, in a world where we are exaggerating everything. We need to show the people that we are successful. We need to show the people that we are doing good stuff, that we are going on vacation in an amazing place. But in the end of the day, who cares? If in the first place you feel happy and grateful of what you're doing, you can be in a table with your best friend or the person that you want, having a sandwich, and be happy. So in the end of the day, it's not what you see outside, but you need to be very happy and grateful inside first.
Focus inside a bit more than gaining external validation.
I'm finishing this interview with you, and I'm so happy because I think it's one of the first time where I went through the past of everything and explored for the first time my journey.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us. It's been
my pleasure.
A real pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.